Start with the wrong screen. Sorry there. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of The Games Afoot, where I play different Sherlock Holmes video games and talk about game design, solve cool crimes, and also little bits of the Sherlockian canon. And I hope everyone is doing well in our current lockdown situation, as it were. It's an interesting time right now, but I thought since stuck in the house anyway, it's a chance to kind of get back into this. We had a good time last time, so I definitely want to keep playing. So if y'all want to hang out, I think I have some more fun today. Speaking of hobbies, one of the things I've been doing recently is working on a project I've been wanting to do for a while now, which is a lot of people talk about how one of the most definitive Sherlock Holmes presentations was a show that was done in the 80s by Granada, the one that stars Jeremy Brett. A lot of people are very familiar with that. But there actually was a contemporary one in Russia, the USSR, that was also very well respected, but there aren't very many English translations. In fact, the only one I could find was a kind of dodgy fan translation of it. So I'm actually going through and editing the subtitles to make sure timing's correct, getting them more accurate. Little things like getting the reference is correct, like in one of the first stories, which is based on a speckled band, the titular speckled band was actually called the Motley Ribbon. So little things like that to get it more accurately up to current Sherlock Holmes. So definitely when I'm my free time, Sherlock Holmes is one of my fun hobbies. I'm really into it, in case you guys weren't aware. So yeah, nice to see you guys again. Nice to see you, Elf of Zion. Jay, thanks for stopping by. Also, big shout out to Von Aether for hosting us on his channel. So really appreciate it. When am I doing a Sherlock Holmes RPG? That's a funny story. Is I've intentionally not been doing a ton of Sherlock Holmes stuff professionally, quote unquote, because I want to keep some things that are actually kind of my hobby. But that said, I have some ideas for some potential games down the line, and also some other things have people have approached me about possibly doing Sherlockian related work. So I mean, I think at some point I probably will do related, Sherlock Holmes projects. But right now, I'm just enjoying doing relatively pointless things, like translating a 35-year-old Russian TV show, because that's what I do. And Trinity Victorian heroine, that's up to Onyx Path. That's not up to me. But anyhow, let's get going here. One thing, for those of you who haven't tried this before, because I'm emulating in Scum and VM, the VM actually has its own save file system. So theoretically, I could jump right into my save game and go right into that stage of the game. I don't have to load the game up again. But since last time we didn't get the audio going, this time I believe I have cracked the case on that, if you will. And so I'm going to actually hear the music and opening that I couldn't get going last time. So let's give that a shot and see how that goes. Jay's asking to transcribe the consulting detective handbooks. Like, yeah, I would love to do that, actually. That would be a lot of fun for Castle Falkenstein. I'm a huge Castle Falkenstein fan, too, so I'll do that. Can you guys hear that music? Because it's actually really good for that thing, too. I really dig it. Yes, okay, meaty, excellent. So you guys are hearing it. Great, so that is working this time. Fantastic. And I mean, yeah, again, I talk a lot about the nostalgia and the vibes of this. Certainly, if you were of a particular time frame, this music and this style of music is going to evoke a lot of memories for it. But considering the time period this was done in, it's actually genuinely pretty good music, and the voice acting, not so much, but the music's actually really, really strong, and you hear more music throughout the game too. The sound effects are going to be very deliberate. Like right now, none of this is, I'm talking over it, but there's no sound happening right now. We'll pause here. You see, all of that is music. There's no sound effects whatsoever in any of that. But in a moment here, you will hear some very kind of specific sound effects. Early the following morning on Baker Street. See, can being kicked. That's the sound effect they went with. That's the one sound effect they went with.
Yes?
Begging your pardon, ma'am. This is a note from Mr. Holmes from Inspector Lestrade of Scotland Yard.
Oh, very well. I'll see that he gets it. Thank you, Constable.
Yeah, the voice acting, it's to be experienced. It definitely, this is, again, early days, the voice acting was even a thing. So...
Have you been sufficiently fortified by Mrs. Hudson's murderous cough, Watson, to put your mind to this mystery?
Whatever are you on about, Holmes, so early in the morning?
I'm sorry to interrupt your reading, young man. Mrs. Hudson has just delivered a very intriguing note. Would you care to peruse it?
By all means. Mr. Holmes, a young woman has been brutally murdered outside the Regency Theatre in Oxford Street. The evidence here suggests that Jack the Ripper has emerged from under his rock in Whitechapel and struck savagely in Mayfair. Despite your contention that the Ripper's work is without motive and therefore not suited for your methods, I believe you will find this case of interest. And the Yard...
Okay, so you get a sense of what we're talking about here. In particular, you notice that the music is not lower than the audio, so you almost can't really hear the speaking words. Because again, this was a relatively new concept. People were still getting the idea that voice could be a thing. So yeah, it is tricky and unbalanced. First of all, hey Yodan, hey Dixie, thanks for coming out, appreciate it. And to answer Jay's point, I'm not starting over. I just wanted to show people that because there was something I didn't get a chance to get to last time. To kind of show that little piece of it. So no, I'm going to go ahead and jump to our last save point. And so to kind of refresh people's memory, the case is that this is 1888 London, right after the time of the Jack the Ripper murders. An actress was killed outside of a theater, not in Whitechapel, and the police believe it is another example of Jack Ripper coming out, even though it's outside of his Whitechapel stomping grounds. Holmes is not convinced of this, and after examination of the corpse, it was discovered, got some clues, but one of the key ones was that her throat was cut by a blunt or serrated scalpel of some kind, which is not a typical doctor's equipment, or tool, I should say. So it's also the reverse name of this version, because there were two Lost Files of Sherlock Holmes. This one's also called The Case of the Serrated Scalpel, and that's where that name comes from. We spent a lot of time in this room here, which is backstage, talking to the other actresses where we had to do some puzzle hoops to get to talk to her. We got some information from her. We then went to the morgue and got some information from the body itself. I think there's been some other murders in this style. So this is looking at a serial killer here of some kind. And we have a wide variety of evidence, which I will start going through now so people can refresh our memories. Now this is the letter that was written to us by G. Lestrade, asking for our help. A number of our business cards. There were some cigarette butts that were found at the scene. If you remember at the beginning, a shadowy figure was sitting there smoking outside before he attacked the woman. These are probably those same cigarette butts. This was an iron bar that was found outside of an alley where the murder happened. This is a handwritten card that was left on a bouquet of flowers. And so this is from a secret admirer, so we know that the woman who was killed had a secret admirer. A perfume bottle that was also left, believed to be from a local perfumier. It's called Eau de Sedan. And I believe it's the gifts, so that's one of the places we could look. This was the brass key. We're going to find a bunch of keys here. Powder that was found around the weapon, where the slash occurred. We should probably examine that at some point. Another key, opera tickets that were left in this drawer here, actually, that are in the name of the murdered woman. And I believe that's all we have so far. We pretty much thoroughly examined this area. And again, if I'm throwing a bunch of stuff at you, first time watching, I advise you to go back and check out part 1 a couple weeks ago. Especially in games like this, I kind of need to get going. And more importantly, there is a journal here. We thought we showed this last time, which does keep track of everything, but you see it's up to 81 pages. So I'm not going to go through the whole journal again for everybody's sake. Okay. Let's double check, make sure. This is Henry Carruthers. He is the manager of the theater. Let's see if he has anything more to talk to us about. I think we talked about everything. Walk over. No, and for those of you new to this, we discovered last time that this gray text here means that we've already asked this information, which is, again, relatively a decent technology in 1982. Let's see if Dr. Watson has any suggestions for us. Nope. Okay. All right, then. So let us head out. Like I said, we've already examined this room. We stopped here after we did examine this. Gonna go ahead and double check this area. Just do a quick mouse over on things, make sure there's nothing else we missed. I think we've already checked the weather-beaten crate, but let's check that again. This is a well-traveled but sturdy crate with a detachable cover. The name of the theater, stenciled on the cover, is almost worn away. Footprints in the dirt nearby indicate someone standing here recently. Are there footprints? No. Wait, hold on. No, it's weather-beaten. Can we open the weather-beaten crate? I don't think we tried that yet. Aha! Let's look inside. The theater's costume mistress apparently dumps fabric remnants and spoiled work into this crate. The contents appear undisturbed. Okay. Can we... Guess we can pick up. Nothing of interest here. Okay. For those of you new, a couple of minor points. You see a lot of these verbs down here. We're actually not going to use them all that often because it's actually pretty good about, if you see the depressed points here, it's pretty good defaulting verbs on you, so we only have to choose these when we have to select specific verbs. Also, I can use keystrokes. The first letter of each of these, if I press the key, will automatically trigger that verb. So if I push P, for example, it will pick up. So you won't see it bouncing around here too much, but occasionally I'll go on here just kind of gesticulate. But I mean, really, we're going to get mostly this area here. So if you're used to having the full screen to look at, not so much at this time. All right, so let's leave this area. We had some places that we can check out. Again, this is the map. I mentioned this last time, but this is the map of Victorian London. And more specifically, this map is very, very close to the map you get in the Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective board game. The areas it covers and the specific area of London it covers and the orientation and the whole 9 yards is very, very similar to that. So it's very likely it was, if not a direct lift from it, probably both were inspired by the same historical maps. Someone's asking about the fonts. Particularly, it looks like it's the Westwood Fonts editor. So thanks, Vanita, for pulling it up. Okay, so 201 Baker Street. That's where we're based, obviously. This is the alley, so you see the icon where Holmes is at is where we're currently at, so you don't accidentally go there again. Scotland Yard. We have the South Kensington Fields because. This was, we went to the flats of the woman who was murdered. We found a rugby jersey there from someone who went to South Kensington Field. So that's one of our leads. This is the perfumier of the perfume that was left as a gift. This is the morgue that we've already been to, Scotland Yard. and this is the Chancery Opera House, who I believe that is where her sister originally worked. Those are kind of our locations here. And her flat. We've already been there. So I'm going to go ahead and go to the perfumier because we haven't been there yet, and that was one of our first clues we got. Good day, gentlemen. My name is Bell. If you require any assistance, please do not hesitate to ask. Also, people new to the stream, I'm not going to be doing accents. It is best for everybody that it happens. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of skim through here to see if there's anything worth looking at. There's the chair. Look at the chair. A comfortable and elegant straight-back chair intended for the languishing companion of the client currently being served by the dressmaker. Okay, there's dressmaker. That's interesting. There's a cleaning girl. We'll skip that a moment. Lilac gown. Just look at the lilac gown first before we pick it up. Next season's most extravagant entry in silk and organdy. Virtually guaranteed to attract the newest crop of debutantes as moths to a flame. Dr. Watson. Display mannequins. Two of the season's woolen winter coats are on display. The fashion conscious may notice that this season's garments are not particularly distinguishable from last season's. The other thing I like is that while it's not clear who the voice is, it's not necessarily Watson, but certainly there's a bit of sarcasm in the commentary, which I appreciate. So there's a whole bunch of stuff here to look at. So let's talk to the cleaning girl first. I'm looking for a certain young man who purchased perfume from this shop recently. Beg pardon, sir. My mistress don't permit me to converse with the clients. If she sees me talking to you, I'm sacked for certain. Okay, then. Gary Owen narrating Space Quest games was actually huge, and especially the later ones. It was so funny and so good. I'm looking for a young man who purchased some perfume for you recently. I may be able to help you. What scent did he purchase? Eau de Cyan. Ah, that is a very popular scent. Of the quality perfumes, it has the most modest price. What does this young man look like? So we have some options here. He wears heavy wool sweaters, which was one of the clues we found in the flats. He wears copious amounts of macassar oil in his hair, which is a clue we noticed specifically in the doorway between the backstage and the alleyway. There was a smear of macassar oil, and it was believed that it very likely belongs to the murderer. And he is in the habit of clipping his fingernails in public places, which I don't remember where we got that from. So I'm going to start with 2. That's our most likely clue. He wears copious amounts of macassar oil in his hair. Is he tall or short? He is tall because he was, again, brushing the top of the door. So let's try 3. He's very tall and taller than myself. Is he thin or stout? Do not have, I think, any information on this. So let's try, I am yet unsure of his build. I'm yet unsure of his build. Can you tell me the color of his hair? Elle's design reminds me, yes, we found a black hair in the oils, so thank you for that. Yes, he has black hair. I do recall a young man like the one you described. He wore a striped jersey with a number on it. I remember because when I remarked on it, he said he played rugby at the field near here. I'm afraid I don't recall the number, but we do have a rugby jersey. We do have a field link, so there we go. We have connected the person who bought the perfume and the person with the macassar oil and black hair with the person who wore the rugby sweater. So if there's anything else we could talk to Belle about, I'd like to purchase some perfume. Very good, sir. Do you have a scent in mind? I feel like this is something we need to get later. So I was hoping you'd make a recommendation. For you, sir, I recommend Pois de Vie. It is subtle and elegant, and any woman of sophistication would be most appreciative of the investment, if I may be so bold. Would you like to purchase a bottle? I wish I'd think about it. I will let you know my decision. Very good, sir. When you decide, I'd be happy to accommodate you. Okay, so let's check here the placard. The placard reads Eau de Cyan. That's the one that we get it. It contains a number of beautifully crafted, hand-blown bottles of brilliant blue glass. The obvious quality of the bottle perhaps conceals the less than obvious quality of the scent. Again, just delightful sarcasm. This is Fleur de l'Est. Flowers of the East is a popular exotic scent smelling faintly of jasmine and coriander. L'Amour. I feel like we're probably going to do another perfume here, so let's get familiar with these. The distinctive golden bottle of love promises much more than it could possibly deliver. It is, however, prohibitively expensive, which makes up for any inadequacies in the product. Oh, I love this commentary. La Côte d'Azur? The case is empty. So, for future reference, La Côte d'Azur appears to be empty. Poit de Vie, that's the one she recommended to us. The pea green bottles contain an earthy, musk-accented scent, much favored by ladies of uncertain virtue in East London. So that's interesting. Variety of colognes. A wide variety of scents designed to confound the senses in the pursuit of love. Okay, I think we've gotten everything we need to here. Yodan, yeah, the careful choice of words, description, dialogue are so good. And also, it's a really good point. When designing mystery games, it's really difficult to find that balance of making the game way too hard that a casual player can't really engage with it, and being so easy that the players don't really feel like a detective. And right now, this is striking a really good balance. Like the points about the color of the hair, that there's a color of hair stuck in there. That was a detail from a while ago. One of the players remembered that and allowed us to go through this queue. And I'm guessing it's probably a case of if you got 75% of the descriptors right, she regurgitates that clue for you. So reading descriptions does help, but there are subtle ways that can kind of reinforce those clues. It doesn't have a convenient clue tracker like some games do, where all the clues are listed there. Ace Attorney games are really good at that. So this one doesn't have that, so there's a certain amount of just actually remembering things, which is why it's good to play with friends, because it can't all fit in my brain. Yeah, we already looked at that. I want to see, before we pick up, I want to see, okay, you can't pick it up. And yeah, Jay, the flicker of the lamps, again, a small detail you can get for a very pixel-heavy game, it's actually quite surprising. It's really a good indication of the quality of the game and the animators behind it. Would you recommend a perfume for me? Beg pardon, sir. Okay, so basically we can't talk to this girl. So we will go ahead and pop out here. We now have another direction, which is the rugby field, South Kensington Field. So let's take a cab over there. Okay, so I remarked on this before, but you notice that when you mouse over something, it gives you the information here in this blue bar. And so in order to make sure that your eye is not too far from the pointer, you're not really going to find a lot of hotspots in the top third of this screen. So most everything you're going to look at is really going to be in this middle quadrant, so that your eye is relatively close to the bar. Again, really good design decision. So let's look around, look at the fashionable couple. A handsome young couple evaluates the talents of this year's crop of hopeful ruggers trying to make the Kensington Club. The water boy? Jenkins, watch out where you're out, man. Your tackling technique betrays no knowledge of the sport. Though it's been years since I stepped onto a rugby pitch, Holmes, this group looks like a sorry lot to me. Minor points. A lot of Watson's interests and mannerisms actually are pseudo-biographical from Arthur Conan Doyle. And so this is an interesting point because Conan Doyle actually was a rugby player. And so Watson's little comment that it's been a while since I played rugby is actually in line with how he's presented in the canon. So, minor little tidbit there. Oh wait, there's a rugby ball here. What seemed at first glance to be an enormous, anemic pig's bladder turns out to be a significantly deflated rugby ball. Talk to the player. Or look at the player. A hulking backfield player covered with dirt and grass stains bleeds profusely from his nose and mouth. He appears to have been recently separated from his two front teeth, and his nose is grotesquely situated in one side of his face. Ouch. Excuse me, young man. It's off, aren't you? As an Ochium. It's writing in dialect. Oh, that's awkward. But basically, his nose hurts. Go talk to the coach. Here, boy, have you seen a young woman named Sarah Caraway watching the practices? I don't think I've ever heard the name, but then my duties keep me very busy, and the players don't talk too much. Sarah Caraway is the victim, by the way, for reference. Suppose the coach doesn't pay you very well for all your work. Here's an extra shilling for taking the time to talk to us. I don't want no wages, Gov. I like helping the team. I'm going to be a 3/4 when I grow up, which is a rugby position, doesn't it? Alright, so it looks like we're talking to the coach. What a talented group of muscular lads. The makings of a fine team, if I'm any judge. If you knew anything about rugby, Gov, you'd know that size don't signify. Give me midgets with heart and a knowledge of the game, and we'll hold our own. I've got over 30 shirkers scattered over this field. With you pestering me, I'll never beat him into shape. Your current club appears to have excellent athletic skills. I suspect that your guidance will shape them sharply into a good team. Not with you hanging over my shoulder. I got 15 blokes who don't know their left foot from their right. Okay, so we can't really talk to him. Yeah, Dixie, the music is a lot. I'm actually going to turn it down a smidge, so that way it's not as powerful. But the music is very enthusiastic. Let's see if there's anything in inventory that we can give to the rugby coach that will get to talk to us. I think the sweater is not one of our clues, actually. Not much we could do here at the moment, so let's head on back out. Oh, do you know anything about this sport, Watson? In my younger days, I had modest success and a wonderful time playing with the Blackheath Football Club. It's difficult to tell whether or not these lads are enjoying themselves. Fair enough. Do you see anything of import, Watson? Not a thing, though my powers of detection are pathetically meager when compared to yours. I think it's going to be a default question here. Okie doke. We've done for Fumier, pretty much got everything out of there. Been to the alley, we've been to South Kensington Field, we've been to the flats. Go to the Opera House where we have the tickets. Yeah, the rugby players being very, very wee, very small are really funny. So you guys talk to the usher? I beg your pardon, what show is playing this evening? It's called From On High. Mr. Epstein says it is the most popular show of the season. All the critics love it. There's another question. I'd like to buy some tickets if I may? Sorry, sir, but this show is fully subscribed. The theater is completely sold out for the next 3 weeks. Even standing room is gone. So we do have tickets, which we could give at some point. But let's talk to the manager first. Good evening, sir. My name is Sherlock Holmes. I'm assisting Scotland Yard in a sensitive investigation. May I have a moment of your time? Certainly, Mr. Holmes. I'm Frederick Epstein, General Manager of the Chancery Opera House. Have you ever met Miss Sarah Carraway? She is a sister of Anna Carraway. Yes, I met her once, about a year ago, and I've seen her here a few times since then. We are not well acquainted. I believe Anna gave her a season's pass to one of our best box seats, but I haven't seen her today. I wonder if Frederick Epstein is related to his more notorious brother. Where may I find Anna Carraway? Regrettably, she's bedridden with a sore throat this evening. Her understudy will perform competently enough, but I'm happier when the divine Anna returns. Do you know where Miss Anna lives? Actually, I don't yet. She has recently moved, and I have not given myself the pleasure of leaving my card at her new home. She informed me of her illness by telegram. It'll be difficult to visit her at home, I think, if you don't know her address. Indeed, I'm sure she will offer that information at her earliest convenience. May we see her dressing room? I'm afraid that's out of the question. Visitors and guests are not permitted access to the performers' private rooms. Okay. Let's look around a bit before we do anything. Not just the other usher there. So let's talk to the usher real quick, just to see if there's anything there. As a note, tickets, please. Okay, so I have to give him tickets. One thing you're not seeing is that occasionally I have to kind of double and triple click to actually register something. So if it seems like there's a pause before something happens, it's because occasionally I'm actually going to click it 2 or 3 times before it actually registers. I don't know if that's the original software or the virtual machine emulator, but it's not ideal. So let us give him a business card. No, thank you. Okay. That's interesting. All right, let's try to give the tickets to the usher. Give opera tickets to usher. Tickets, please. I did. Try again. Give opera tickets to Usher. Okay. Let's try and give opera tickets to this Usher. That's weird. Box seats, very good, sirs. Please show them to the balcony usher and he'll direct you to your places. Okay, that is unclear. Because there are two ushers and they're both called Usher. I think when I kept being ticket please, it looked like this one was the person I had to give it to, but actually it sounds like this one was probably the person I was actually being addressed by. It was unclear which character was speaking to me, and they're named and look identical. Minor point. So let's give opera tickets to this Usher. Your seats are right up these stairs. You can't miss them. Okay, let us go up these stairs. Excuse me, gentlemen, but you must have the wrong box. These seats are occupied. The usher downstairs can direct you to your places. I'll sit where I want. You can't tell me what to do. Okay, so this is just a neat little scene. Nothing really interactable here, which is understandable. Another minor point. This is kind of a style thing, but this is of a time period where you generally could only interact things your character could logically walk to and interact with. So in some modern games, you would sometimes be able to look or examine things just from eyesight, but it's... and I think some of the Scum Engine games, maybe also a lot of them, I think maybe some of the Sam & Max games also may have done that, but there's also a definite school of design where it's only things your character can interact with. So since my character can't leave this box, none of this is interactable. It's a minor point, but it's interesting. And I see that people are talking about telegraphs technology in the chat. Things sometimes they're delivered by messengers as opposed to by telegraphs, so they can save the lines for longer critical calls. That's a good point, Jay. A lot of times, even though they use telegraph form, sometimes they were actually just hand-carried rather than actually use the device, because you could only send one message at a time. You couldn't have multiple at once, so they would reserve them for times that the line had to be used correctly. So let's talk to this elderly woman who's in our box that we totally stole. Please see the balcony usher for directions to your seats, gentlemen. The show will be starting soon. Well, I guess that's it. There's gotta be something else here. Let's try giving a card to this woman. No, thank you. Okay, Watson, help me out here. This may prove to be a challenging investigation, don't you think, Watson? Your gift for understatement is excelled only by your modesty, Holmes. And the do you see anything interesting, Watson, is kind of a default answer. So, we're running out of searching options here, so we still have one path left before I resort to the clue book. And for those who weren't in the last episode, I'll show you real quick. There's a PDF of a book that was actually sold at the time called the Sherlock Holmes Clue Book. And this was because this was a time before walkthroughs. A lot of the options were either you call into a hint line and you spent $2 or $3 a minute or whatever it was talking to someone and trying to get clues on things. Infocom did this a lot. Or you would buy a book to actually help this kind of act as a walkthrough. We may have to resort to that here, but for the moment we still have 221 Baker Street. JSS, since you'd like to visit this theater multiple times, but of course today is the same play each time, or is that woman set for a triple feature? She's really into this play, let me tell you. So a while ago we had given our Wiggins, our irregular here, a task of tracking down the owner of a particular flower, an unusual flower that we found, dyed flower. These are flowers that are found in the backstage area. He has not returned, so we're not ready for that clue yet. Let's see if Jonas has any information for us. Jonas is not a canonical character. This is new to the game. Hello again, Mr. Rigby. Still well, I trust? Can't complain, Mr. Holmes, and if I did, who would listen? Too true. There's so little kindness in the world. Good day to you. Oh, there we go. The better London papers, several illustrated weeklies, a handful of the most scurrilous scandal sheets and magazines, and a small selection of chocolate confections are available at the stall. Unique amongst city newsstands, the proprietor keeps unsold daily newspapers for a week or so before sending them back to Fleet Street. Okay, so let's go ahead, go into 221B Baker Street. Alright, so last time it was the lab table. We already read the lab table. I need to use the lab table. Okay, that's weird. So use automatically gives you the... Oh, right, I remember now. I have to use the powder on the lab table. There we go. Again, not always intuitive. If you have any idiosyncrasies of this, but compared to some of the games at the time, it's actually not bad. Okay. So we have test tube. Let's do this. Packet of Swan Vestas, the safety match of choice of HM the Queen. So let us. Wait, I want to use. Oh, sorry. Trying to remember how we did this. Use matches? Great, okay. So I have to use the powder on the test tube. I don't know why that's red, but adding sulfuric acid. Right, okay. Now we will use the matches. Okay, now I'm just going to figure that out for us. And we're going to wait for it to boil, because waiting in video games is always the most exciting part. Okay, so what would we like to do now? I'm looking at the test tube. I'm clicking on the test tube. I don't know if you noticed that. And nothing seems to be happening. Let's try picking up the test tube. Nothing of interest here. Huh. Okay. Remember how I said that we're going to switch to the things? We're going to switch to the thing. So, as I mentioned, this is the clue book. The clue book, it's kind of clever. It is actually written in a kind of quasi-canonical style. Basically, you find the location here, and then it gives you the scene, and it asks Watson asking a question of Holmes, and Holmes giving a response, which is your actual hint. So, Watson's question is, here's the thing I want to find out. Holmes' answer is, here's the clue you're looking for. So, it's a neat little thing. So we are 221B. We are 221B internal. We made that mistake last time. Internal. What is it? Laboratory tale viewers. What kind of things? Okay. Watson, what sorts of things do you analyze at your lab table, Holmes? Holmes. The demonstration will consider the powder I removed from the victim's coat. Using a few simple tests, I soon know just what sort of powder it is. Holmes uses the test tube and Bunsen burner to analyze the powder. Holmes uses the test tube and Bunsen burner. I think I did that, but let's go back. Use test tube? That was unclear. All right. Adding powder found in victim. Okay. A black mirrored surface forms. This indicates the presence of arsenic. Okay. Let's look at the smoke residue. The chemical reaction that caused a dark mirrored film to form on the cooler upper portion of the tube. This reaction is indicative of arsenic. Okay, so we now know the powder is arsenic. I don't know what that gives us, though. So let's try using Can't use that. Pick up smoke residue. Use test tube. Try. I guess. Nope. All right. I think that's all we're gonna get out of this. So exit. Okay. Let's see if Watson has anything for us. Did your study of this morning's paper provide anything that might be helpful to us, Watson? There was nothing relevant that's in that scandalous rag, Holmes. All right. I'll need to smoke more than 2 pipefuls of my slow-burning shag to sort out this muddle. There's not enough tobacco in Virginia to fill the pipes I would need to solve it on my own. Nice. Okay. So let's go back to the inventory. Let's look at the handwritten card. The card reads, Dear Sarah, what's the name? A rose bearing the name of smell of sweets, a secret admirer. Surprising, this is the product of a feminine right hand with the habit of dotting the I's in tiny hearts. The perfume bottle. This is the eau de Sam. The brass key. So that was for the jewelry box. No, the large key was actually for. Oh no, it's iron gates or external starting. Okay, so that large key was for the backstage. The small key was for the drawer we opened up that got the information out of, or got the tickets out of. Okay. In addition to common soap, salt of tartar, and camphor, analysis reveals trace amounts of powdered, highly toxic arsenic. Combination suggests Becure's arsenical soap, a common preservative compound. Okay, that's actually new information. Skip around here. I don't think there's anything else we could do here. All right. Out. Minor points. Again, because this is relatively new in adventure game design, a lot of things we take for granted now weren't necessarily established as common vernacular vocabulary. So one thing I just did was I tried to move to go out the door. But it turns out move as in actually moving an object from one place to another. So I'm used to move being, I want to move my character from one place to another place, not that I want to move an object around with my character. So slight change in vernaculars were there. Okay, so let's see. Let's go back to the flat. Sometimes these games, you have to go back to old locations and things have changed in the meantime when you've acquired certain information. It is not my favorite game design, but it is something that does happen. This is the rugby sweater that we saw before. This is Sarah Calloway's flat. We found a small key in here, which is what led us to the backstage information. The crossbar is sturdy on top with enough coal dust to indicate it's not been removed any time recently. The umbrella also had a key in it. Yeah, I think this is everything here. Oh, right. Jay pointed out that there was no question about the number. Let's check the sweater, see if there's a number. Men's rugby sweater with the colors and insignia of the Kensington Rugby Club. The back of the collar is heavily stained with Macassar oil and a few black hairs are embedded in the fibers of the wool. Can I pick up the sweater? No. Okay, so no. For some reason, I cannot flip the sweater over. Alrighty. So bend to you Baker Street, bend to the alley, bend there, Scotland Yard, let's go there. I don't think we've been there actually yet. Right. This is the apparently blind vendor who's not actually blind at all. We shook him down to get information from Lestrade earlier. See if he has anything new for us. Nope. That Augie is his name, that's right. Let's go to the door here. This is the duty officer that got us access to Lestrade last time. Good day, Sergeant. Good day, Mr. Holmes. Oh, that was pleasant. Sergeant Duncan, would you please call Inspector Lestrade up again? Of course, Mr. Holmes. Mr. Inspector Lestrade, please report to the duty officer's desk. And now Lestrade's gonna walk all the way back through here. Yes, Holmes, what more can I do for you? Talk to Lestrade. As you take very ponderously steps all the way over. Hello again, Inspector. Hello, Holmes. Oh, I'm glad we did that. Elsa's Lion points out that, rugby, your number is not actually unique to a player, it's to your position. I think it's 1 through 12, the starting lineup, you are actually in positions 1 through 12. Numbers after that, as they fill in and come out, take different positions, but generally speaking, your number is assigned. If you change positions for some reason on the team, you actually will get a new number. Do we have anything new? Let's try giving the analysis results. No, we don't need to look at that. Give analysis results to Lestrade. No, thank you. Here's a clue, Lestrade. Nah, I'm good, thanks. That's pretty on par for Lestrade. Give powder to Lestrade. No, thank you. Minor point also is, again, in modern adventure game design, usually you'll get some kind of relatively unique answer. Not necessarily for every single item you have, but usually they get some a bit of, character-specific rebuttal to "I don't need this piece of information." The fact this game just goes to "no, thank you" is a minor interesting point. Back to cheating. To be fair, I don't consider this cheating. These games are definitely meant to be much harder than modern mysteries, and also expect the player to do more hands writing and note taking on their own, which I am not doing. So I have zero problem using this document to try to figure out where we need to go to next. So let's scroll back to the top. Scene of the crime. We already gave Wiggins the carnation. We've done that. Wiggins lads we had for some time. He'll return later. Okay. So Wiggins has been gone for a while. Involved in the case, chemistry, powder, carnation. We don't know the flower. Okay, Spots and Wiggins. Okay, and we don't have that information yet. Regency Theater. Iron Bar near the door, we got that. Get past the houseboy did that. Lestrade's gone. Stage is locked. We found the key to unlock it. Bottle of perfume belonged to the deceased. Vase of flowers, recent gift. Got the card. Ordinary carnations. Hysterical girl, which we did talk to. Dresser's locked. We unlocked that. Door catch. We had that fixed. Answer the questions. We gave her a sedative because that's how you treat people. Stop at the door. The oily stain, which we've already discovered. Dresser. Use the brass key. Pair of tickets. The opera house. Sarah's flats. We've already found the key there. Found the sweater. Yes, laudanum. Laudanum solves everything. Southwick Morgue. We've actually done quite a lot of these. We're actually pretty far ahead. I'm surprised. Death certificates. Authorization. Okay. Scotland Yard, Scotland Yard. Opera House. Okay. We have our tickets. Okay, so, seems to be full house this evening. I wonder if among masks can answer our question. The important looking chap must be the manager. He also knows about Anna Caraway. We just spoke to him. Mr. Epstein seems unlikely to cooperate. How do we get into Anna Caraway's dressing room? Go over and speak to the owner, Mrs. Worthington. Mrs. Worthington, the woman we saw in the box, is actually the owner. That was not clear to me. Let's go back to the Opera House. Vanity Threat mentioned that the character sprites are shaded to fit in with the backgrounds, except for the two cops really far in the back. And that's true. The closer to the foreground shades are, they're a little kind of more shaded to be more accurate, more part of the scene. But as you get smaller and smaller characters, they tend to be more striking colors to make them pop out more. We also saw a little bit of that on the rugby team, if you recall. They were a little more distinctive. Laudanum, the Four Loko of Victorian London. Yes, that is very true. All right, let's go back upstairs. Some games I would have had to go through the ticket rigmarole again. Luckily this game, it's like, nope, you already unlocked that. Feel free to go on up. So we try talking to the elder one. Still waiting for the show to start. As a note, she definitely is Miss Worthington, so that's correct. Give opera tickets to the elder one. These are Sarah Caraway's tickets. How'd you come by them, if I may ask? You knew Miss Caraway then? Knew her. I'm Mrs. Worthington, and I own the Chancery Opera House. As I share this box with Sarah, I know her, of course. And who might you be? This is Mr. Sherlock Holmes, and I am Dr. John Watson. So we have options here. We can inform her that she's dead, or we can say that she's otherwise engaged. Oh, okay, well. We got the tickets from Sarah, who is otherwise engaged. We have come to hear Anna sing. I certainly hope she does sing. She has a voice the angels must envy, but I heard that she might be ill. Well, please make yourselves comfortable. Performance is about to start. Okay, I clicked on the wrong thing. I did not want to do that. We need to see inside Anna Caraway's dressing room. Would you be so kind as to secure Mr. Epstein's consent to inspect these premises? Of course. Here, I'll write you a note to give to him. So, to summarize, I showed up somebody else's tickets. I just said, yeah, she loves to go to tickets. It's cool. Okay, cool, great. Hang out. Oh, by the way, can I check out her sister's house, back room? Sure, no problem. Here's a note. No explanation why, just letting random strangers in. Fantastic. Let's go do that. Actually, before we do that, let us look at the new note. Note from Ms. Worthington to Fred Epstein. Please allow Mr. Holmes and Dr. Watson access to Anna's dressing room. Give notes to manager. Box tickets are cheap. No, they are not. Box tickets are not cheap. I see. You succeeded with Mrs. Worthington where you failed with me. Very well. You may view Anna's dressing room, but I insist that you disturb nothing. Her personal property and that belonging to the opera company are off limits to you. Understand? Understood? I'll remind you once again that you are to touch nothing. I'll be watching you closely. Okay, so take a little look. With your eyes, not with your hands. I suspect, based on past knowledge of how adventure games work, that at some point in time I will have to distract him or sneak back here to actually take something. Actually, no, here's a rare moment of a hotspot in a higher portion of the screen. Actually, a fair number of them, unusually. I'll start the closet. Cloaks, coats, formal gowns, day dresses, chambermaids' costumes, and a host of evening apparel are crammed randomly into this capacious closet. Shoe rack. Okay. Women's shoes of every size, color, and description are piled to overflowing on this wooden rack. Excess pairs spill into the neighboring paper box and onto the closet floor. I think that's everything we're gonna get in that piece. For those of you who aren't familiar, there is a euphemism in the adventure game community called pixel hunting, which is what I'm doing right now. I'm literally trying to mouse over very small portions of the screen to see which pixels are going to highlight the hotspot for me to actually see or do something. This is a common thing in older school games. Likenesses and cameo silhouettes in oil of the great operatic composers line the walls. Mozart, Verdi, and Puccini are all represented. There are no personal photographs or pictures in evidence. Elves Zion pointed out that maybe because the main character at the top, it's reasonable the hotspots there too, and that's a good point. Because their eyes can be, looking up here anyway. And to be fair, I have this relatively wide on my screen. I can see the blink of the light blue popping out. So I mean, it's not like I can't see it happening. But I can usually see that you probably want to put... All of this has been relatively fluff description. I'm not seeing any clues up here, so worst case scenario, if I do all miss all the stuff, the game probably is not going to be too inconvenienced by it. A common iron coat rack holds an elegant and stylish silk hat and a pink feather boa made of dyed ostrich plumes. Ostrich plumes. Ostrich. These are more portraits. Yes, same portraits. Information. Jewelry box. An inexpensive Florenstein-style red leather chest with a hinged lid. Mr. Epstein is watching your examination very closely. Now, we do have a brass key. Like a drawer or a jewelry box. We did open a drawer with it. It may also open this jewelry box. I don't think I'll be able to do it because Epstein's right there. Well, let's give it a shot. I can't do that. Okay. The other guy that's showing up in the mirror is a vampire. Vampire! Vanny pointed out, Fallout had a notoriously small, mission-critical, invisible hotspot near the end of the game. Yeah, I actually haven't played all of Full Throttle, but I've heard that too, that it's very, very tricky to find some bits. The vanity is covered with various bottles and small, opaque jars of theatrical rouges, powders, paints, ungulates, and beauty aids. Unguents? Unguents. I'm not familiar with that word. And beauty aids. One moment. I'm going to look that one up. Is a unguent, apparently that's how it's pronounced, is a salve for soothing or healing. It is an ointment. That is good to know. Okay. So that's cosmetics. The hand mirror. A nickel-plated hand mirror decorated with metal reeds and baby's breath. Its poor condition suggests it is not someone's personal property. A music box. A music box. It's a charming cherrywood music box made by Herman Bennett in Salzburg. It is cleverly constructed out of a single piece of wood. The top announces that it plays Ein klein Nachtmusik, a little night music from Mozart, I believe. Drawers. Vanity's 3 drawers, projecting watching your examination of them very closely, because I cannot touch. Such a jerk. Alright, Dr. Watson. Anything interesting in this case? I think it's irrelevance. Need to get this guy out of the room because there are drawers to open and a box to open. Quick, Holmes, shove them over. Let's see. There's game arsenic. I'm sure that'll be fun. I don't see any downsides to that. I'm just curious. I cannot poison Frederick Epstein. The jokes write themselves, man. I have nothing. Okay. Now, actually, you guys talk about the mirrors a little bit. One thing I do want to mention is that, yes, Epstein's here. And the way the mirror is structured, he is just on the other side of what we'd see here. So Epstein, if he were to appear in the mirror, would appear about here, and we don't see that part, but you do see the chair at an angle. Also, you do see the candle flickering here. Now, it's little touches that I find interesting, and the way the flickering is happening here is actually balanced by the other side. So little minor animation points that are really, really interesting. Okay, let's Just see what happens if I pick something up. Nothing of interest here. Try open drawer. Piss him off. You may look, fill your eyes, or take a photograph if you like, but you may not touch anything. I'm sorry, Dixie. I didn't mean to take away your La Sombra fantasies of so yes, Epstein's totally La Sombra. It's clear I'm unable to conduct a thorough search of Mr. Epstein by Nick Watson. Holmes speaks with Watson. The two concoct a scheme for keeping the manager occupied. Then Holmes asks Mr. Epstein to accompany him once again to the dressing room. Well, okay. So, I tried talking to Holmes. I tried talking to Epstein. Mr. Epstein, it is essential that I be allowed to thoroughly inspect Miss Carraway's effects. If necessary, I may need to take certain of her things away with me. I repeat, Mr. Holmes, that you may examine Anna's dressing room with your eyes only. You have neither the right nor the authority to touch anything belonging to her or the opera company. If you disturb anything, I will escort you from the building. I don't think that you'll do that, but sure. Do you find it strange that Miss Carraway informed you by telegram that she was sick without telling you her new address? How are you expected to reach her if necessary? I hardly see that Anna's, Miss Carraway's address is any of your concern. Please confine yourself to the dressing room so that I may be done with it. I am ignoring my important duties for the sake of this foolish errand. Wow. Jerk. Okay. Let's talk to Holmes. Watson now? Nope. Let us leave. Probably because I can't talk to Watson there. You won't be able to examine that room properly with the manager inspecting your every move. I can distract him if you wish. Next time we go there, just give me some kind of sign and I'll take it from there. The sign is given. Nothing soothes the mind like good opera, don't you think, Watson? Under normal circumstances, I couldn't agree with you more, but tonight I would difficulty concentrating on the performance. May we see Anna Carraway's dressing room again? All right, if you must, please follow me. So I'm wondering if I have to give Watson a sign here. Can you determine whether the dressers in that closet are Miss Annaway's personal property or do they belong to the opera company? What's all this then? I shall do so now, Holmes, if Mr. Epstein will assist me. Open the drawers! Open the drawers! Open the bloody drawers! A supply of clean, white, soft flannel cloths are folded neatly in one corner. They are used for removing grease paint and theatrical makeup. A large quantity of cotton wool, several colored pencils, a small pot of glue, and a modest collection of what appear to be sets of eyelashes occupy the remaining space. The drawer contains only a small ring of keys. Pick up the keys. Thank you. A large assortment of silk stockings and linen undergarments that would seem absolutely necessary for the comfort of a professional singer of modest means nearly overflow the drawer. Let's pick up the stockings. Nope. There's something hidden under there. Nope. Close the drawers. Close the drawers. Thank you. Use the brass key on the drawer box. You can't do that. That's straight off. Pick up drawer box. Pick up music box. Mr. Watson and Mr. Epstein are returning. It appears the opera company owns them all. Holmes, no luck, I'm afraid. Okie doke. Another thing I want to point out is almost never used nowadays except for in very extreme circumstances, but generally speaking, older adventure games did have timed pieces, like you just saw. I had a certain amount of time before the two characters would come back out. This is a time where this is a point in video game history where that's generally being phased out. But certainly there are still moments where you have to quickly click on things, which can be frustrating, especially if your interface is not as responsive as you would like it to be. Last time I mentioned, but there was a game in 1985. It was primarily a text adventure called Sherlock, where everything was time sensitive. If you did not figure out the clues not only in the correct order, but by the correct time, Lestrade would go off and arrest somebody else, and the game would be over. We're not playing those games because, wow, that sucks. King's Quest 3, Sierra games, yes. In the chat, you guys are already knowing what I'm talking about. These can be very, very frustrating. Usually there will be other ways to kind of repeat them to try to get them going, particularly in the later versions of those, until eventually they're just dropped completely. Watson, is vital that we know if she keeps a pair of red sequin slippers with yellow roses on the toes. I've never seen her wearing any slippers of that description. That would likely be somewhere in this cavernous closet. Perhaps you would assist me, Mr. Epstein. And very well. Anything to conclude this business more quickly. Take the jewelry box. Pick up the jewelry box. Do it. Oh, okay. Now it's interesting. We find no such slippers, Holmes. Every time I go to pick up the jewelry box, they always come back. So it's not times. It's action sensitive, which is interesting. And there's nothing more. Oh, that's the lobby. Let's go ahead. Dressing room. Okay, so there's nothing more to get there. All right, the ring of keys was what's more important. That's fine. Let's check the inventory. We've not looked at the keys yet. Several keys of various sizes adorn this ring. Well, thanks. Okay. I have another thought. Let's talk to Watson again. Do you recall that piece of dried straw that we found, Watson? It is suggestive of a particular type of wide-brimmed hat woven in Panama. Ah, yes, I remember. Mr. Epstein, would you show me where Miss Carraway keeps her millinery collection? Millinery. Again, where I don't know. Back here in the closet, of course. I'm guessing hats. So let's try use ring of keys on jewelry box. You can't do that. What? Use ring of keys on jewelry box? No. Use ring of keys on music box? Use ring of keys on anything? Okay. Okay, no, I see what's happening now. It's actually quite clever. By going to take the music box, I will always bring Watson back, which means I can leave. Oh, okay, or I can grab it now. It's a charming cherry wood music box made from Herman. Let's look at. Sorry, let's pick up. Yeah, okay, so every time I pick it up, they come back. Hats are made by a milliner. Okay, millinery is hat making. Thank you, Dixie. All of her hats are made of felt or taffeta, Holmes. There's nothing that came from further away than East End sweatshop. Wow, harsh. Okay. No. We don't need to send them odds back anymore. And Mr. Epstein has nothing new for us. So let's leave. Let's see if Mrs. Worthington has anything more to tell us now. Mrs. Worthington, I'm trying to inform you that Sarah Carraway is dead. We're assisting the police in an official investigation. Oh, how dreadful. Such a lovely girl. Was there an accident? Please compose yourself, madam. There is no accident. Investigating her death, you don't mean to say that she was murdered? I'm afraid that is true. Is there anything you could tell me about Sarah? She was a pleasant young woman, though we only shared small talk. It is sad how little any of us knows about those around us, and now she's gone. She liked nothing better than to see her sisters sing. They were very close. In fact, Anna recently gave her a pendant, and Sarah cherished it so. She told me that she never took it off. As a note, we did find, when we examined the body, that there were marks around the neck as if a necklace had been removed. So the pendant has probably been stolen by the murderer. A large pendant with a heavy chain. Yes, you've seen it then. The way the bird was etched into the ivory oval was simply beautiful. It was a bit grand for every day, so she wore it under her blouse. When Sarah got it, she brought it out to show me. She said James, her young man, loathed it, but she didn't care for his opinion in this matter. We need to speak to Anna Carraway. Do you know where she lives? No, I love her voice, but I know nothing of her personal life. Perhaps Mr. Epstein, our manager, can help you. He cannot. Is there anything you can think of that might help us in our investigation? I can't think of anything, but if I do, I will inform the police. I hope you find whoever did this awful thing and bring them to justice. Now, please excuse me. Life goes on. The show is starting. Oh, hey, the show is actually starting. Welcome to the presentation of From On High. Regrettably, our female lead, the divine Miss Anna Carraway, is ill. Miss Angela Ferrati will be singing in her stead. Please join me in wishing Miss Carraway a speedy recovery. We hope that she will enjoy the show. Oh, how unfortunate for Anna. Miss Ferrati, however, is a fine singer in her own right. I hired her myself. She won't disappoint. Oh. Well, for the recording purposes, apparently it looks like my stream has stopped. So I'm stopping the stream for the moment while I'm still recording, and then I'll try to start again. I'm going to keep recording so that way at least the YouTube version will be complete. Okay, let's see if we can get this working. You can watch the opera happening, which is amazing. Yeah, that's weird. And work has stopped. Try to start streaming again. For those of you watching on YouTube, this is, I know, fascinating, but if again, if nothing else, the opera happening in the background is actually pretty funny. So, one more try. Okay, I am back. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. There's something on network error. I didn't even notice it until I saw people mentioning it in the chat. So I was actually playing for a little bit while I was apparently offline. So if you are seeing this now, all you have missed is that Miss Worthington does not know much. And she is we got the opera started, and so the opera is happening in the background right now. Now it's still showing me as currently offline. That's weird. Technical issues. Okay, there. Okay. All right, so it is working now. Okay, sorry about that. But yes. So she talked to me. She said, "Hey, life goes on. I don't have any more information. The show is starting, and so in the background you have been seeing. There's no real music changes. Just the three people. The guy in the green coat and the woman in the blue dress kind of came out. On the left side, they started talking. The guy on the right with the green vest came out and started talking, and now they've just been doing this arm waving thing for about 5 minutes now, and probably loop on the arm waving thing. So, opera. Anyhow. So we don't have her address. Let's see if the manager, he's not going to help, but let's just double check. No. Okay. Maybe the ushers know? Are you familiar with all the people who hold season tickets for this theater? Many of our patrons reserve seats for the entire season. I couldn't tell you again. Okay, I'll just kind of pop that in and up. Have you missed much of the show? The overture has just begun. You'll have no trouble picking up the story. See if this does anything. Nope. Okay. Alrighty. Let's see. We have the flats. We have 221B Baker Streets. We still don't have her address. Come back to the morgue. Yep. Let's try that. The coroner or Gregson may have information on the address. I've analyzed the powder you found in the victim's body. Excellent, Mr. Holmes. What were your findings? My analysis showed that it was some form of arsenic compound mixed with soap. That's a peculiar combination. I can tell you that arsenic had nothing to do with the cause of death. Thank you, Doctor. Oh, that's good to know. May I view Sarah's personal effects again? Of course, Mr. Holmes. Let's see. There's the charm bracelet, silk handkerchief, and facial powder. Small compact tin of Moralaise No. 8 facial talc with a cotton wool applicator. Okay. If there's anything more there, so let's click out of that. Talk to Gregson. Oh, it's you, Holmes. Hello, Inspector. Yes, Holmes, what can I do for you? Nothing. Right. Okay. Dead bodies, dead bodies, dead bodies. Oh, heavy masonry work supports the ceiling. It overarches a dry and reasonably well-lit room, which nevertheless seems perpetually damp. The architecture is reminiscent of the Roman catacombs. That's interesting. Let's get out of here. Okie doke. I'm gonna go to the flats and see if I can unlock anything with those keys. I don't think so, but let me just double check. The keys clearly unlock something. I think we've unlocked everything else elsewhere. Let's try and open the door. Cannot be opened. Okay, just flat out, it can't be opened. Okay. Nothing there. So I suspect we're gonna have to actually use the keys in a Caraway's flat, which we do not have. Let's try Baker Street. Because it's common in the stories. Ah, hey, Wiggins is here. Before I go on to that. It is common in the stories and most Sherlock Holmes games that Holmes has a encyclopedic and plot convenience amount of information at 221B. So a lot of times if it's games, and you have to get a certain piece of information, you don't go to the library, you don't go to the computer database, you go to 221B and look into Holmes's files. So there's a chance that maybe Anna Caraway's address isn't there. But Wiggins has returned with information about our interesting incarnation, so let's talk to him. Yeah, it looks like it is not just me. My network is fine. It does look like it is something is up with Twitch and or other parts of the internet, as Jay mentions. So there is stuff going on, but it looks like we're good right now, so we'll keep going for a little longer. Probably for another half an hour or so, like we usually do. Have you located the source of the flowers, Wiggins? Yes, sir. It's a girl named of Leslie. She sells flowers just like that, like the one you gave me. She has a nice cart set up at Covent Garden just outside a pub. Well done, my boy. Here's your payments and a bonus for the lad who tracked her down. Money, money, money. Money, 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 money. That's all for Wiggins. Does Jonas have anything for me? He does not. So we have probably a new location, but for the moment, let me just check to see if I can confirm my theory as to whether we can get the address from Holmes's files. First question is, where would Holmes's files be? There's a bookcase. Let's try that. Watson's medical shelf, which also contains his case notes, case books, notebooks, and scrapbooks, a few pulp mysteries, and a collection of Clark Russell's sea stories. Jay probably knows this answer to this, but did the term pulp mystery still in existence in 1800s? I felt like that was primarily 1900s onward. But I don't know if pulp mystery as a description was actually prevalent in the 1800s. Anywho, Watson's desk. Let's try Watson's desk. Who knows? A commonplace oak desk with drawers, a stethoscope, and some letters are scattered along the top. Breck front bookcase. Made of carved mahogany, this bookcase holds reference books, maps, gazetteer, encyclopedia, toxicology, soil analysis, and chemistry texts, and a collection of specialist monographs and selected historical classics. I don't see any other bookshelves. There's a book here. J.P.V.D. Ralston's classic Griffin Rampant, an exhaustive survey of the subtle influence of Anglo-Saxon coats of arms exerted on moribund Norman heraldic traditions in the reign of William Rufus. Whew. Too difficult for me. All right, so let's try use bookcase. You can't do that. And that's 1890s, I believe. Okay, yeah, so this might be just a little before pulp was actually being used as a descriptor. That's fine. I mean, most modern Sherlock Holmes stories, most stories written in the Victorian era, but are actually written to be set in the Victorian era, but are written by modern day authors, generally muddy things up a little bit for interest's sake rather than being truly authentic. Some people are really very rigorous in their research, but a lot of people are like, oh, this is Victorian-ish. Yes, Penny Dreadful dime novels is what I'm more familiar with. Dime novels is more American, Penny Dreadfuls is more London, English. The periodic table of the elements, edition 1886, is affixed to the wall with brass carpet tacks. Immediately below it are hung measuring paraphernalia and a small ball-peen hammer. Okay, so is there a sideboard here? A rosewood sideboard, the top of which is strewn with cigar boxes, assorted bottles of alcoholic spirits, the odd plate or two, a common gazogene, and sundry ornamental Victorianalia. Victoriana, actually. Okay, so I could not get the address here. So let's try that new spot first. Let's resume our investigation, Watson. I'm prepared to follow you anywhere, Holmes. Into hell. No, we're probably actually not into hell. That's a different game. The Awakened, actually, which I will play at some point. Alrighty, back to the map. Where is the new spot? Where is the new spot? It's right there. Covent Garden. Swinging sign, barrel, wire, basket of flowers, all sorts of stuff. Okay. Sign says psychic greetings by Madame Mirza. May have to look at that. Young flower girl, flower crates, sturdy oblong pine box, barrel. There's a bung in the barrel. Okay, I've noticed that. I happened to glance on that, but there's like there's like 4 pixels right here that are slightly different brown, and that's the bung of the barrel. Wow. Hello, good sirs. Buy some flowers from Leslie. 2 for a bunch of violets. Okay. Don't talk to Leslie first. Got it. Do you know a woman named Sarah Carroll? No, sir, I don't. Would you like to buy some daisies for her? Or maybe your friend here would? I'm looking for a man who bought some pink carnations from you in the past 2 or 3 days. I'd like to help you, sir, but I need to sell these daisies more than anything, or there will be no supper for me. If you want to buy daisies, then I'm your girl. Lovely array of blossoms you have there, young lady. Why, thank you, sir. I might be interested in a bouquet or 2 for someone special. Watson, isn't Mrs. Hudson rather fond of violets? Yes. Well, yes, she is, Holmes. Young lady, here's a half a crown for a dozen of those lovely violets. That's most irregular, sirs, but they are 2. I would be pleased if you would keep a difference in exchange for your time to answering a few simple questions. My pleasure, kind sir. I'm looking for a man who bought some pink carnations from you in the past 2 or 3 days. I don't have many carnations now, sir, but a couple of days ago I had plenty. What does this man look like? Okay, so this is a down arrow, which says there's more options here. It keeps doing that. I'm seeking a more complete description of the man myself. It's possible you inscribe a card for him to go with his flowers. Many customers like to add a personal touch to their flowers, especially if they're to be a gift. My mom says I have a lovely way about my writing, and if your customer asks, I don't mind adding a word or two for them. If you could show me the card, I might remember him. Haha. Okay. Give the card to her. Is this the card you wrote for a man who brought flowers here recently? Why, yes, sir, it is. I remember the man now. He seemed nice enough, so when he asked me to write a special note to his lady friend, I was glad to help. But no sooner had I finished and handed it back to him than he started asking me to come have a drink with him in the pub there. I told him no at least a dozen times. When he finally gave up, he told me to come around and see him when I changed my mind, like I ever would. Where did he say you could find him? You know, that's the funny thing. It seemed like he was about to, and then he thought better of it. He just looked disgusted, then turned to leave. Then, to make things worse, he tossed his cigarette into my barrel, the one I used for my flowers. Did he say anything else? Nothing a respectable girl repeats, sir. After he tossed his cigarette into my water barrel, he looked at his sleeve and cursed something terrible. I never heard such words before. He looked around my barrel, cursed again, then stomped off down the street. If you have business with this man, you're welcome to it, but please don't say anything to him to make him come back here. Okay. So let's go to the barrel. The content of the barrel is obscured by flowers which are sitting in a wire basket. The basket is affixed to one side of the barrel. A basket hangs from one side of the barrel. Bouquets of assorted flowers are densely packed in it. The barrel is probably filled with rainwater, and the flowers are sitting in their cut ends in the water. Pick up. Wire basket. Come on. There you go. He just dumps them out. Fuck these flowers. The barrel is full of colored water. The water is deep red, as if dye or stain has been added to it. Peering deeply into the fluid, you see just got a shiny object at the bottom. Pick up. It's too heavy. Okay. So let's look at the bung. The bung of the barrel is made of Spanish cork and is swollen with moisture. Swollen with moisture. Open barrel. Pick up. Bung. I need that water for my flowers, sir. Please don't empty it out. Okay. This crate of flowers lay piled on the top of this crate. I wonder who did that. This cart is filled with assorted bouquets of beautiful flowers. Some have striking, unusual coloring. Pleasant odors emanate from the cart. Hello, Leslie. How's business? Well enough, sir. Please come back if you ever want flowers. Okay, so we're done with Leslie. Done with you. Do you have anything I can fish an object out of a barrel with? I do. I have a wire basket. Use wire basket with barrel. Inventory. A cufflink. A shiny brass cufflink with the initials GB inscribed upon it. GB. One thing for new people is they have this amazing journal, which I've showed before, and it is searchable. But it is also very specific into searching. So it as opposed to being actual a fully text searchable, instead what very likely happened was the programmers programmed in specific keywords and then it would show you instances of those. So you can't just search for absolutely anything, which is unfortunate because I would like to actually see if there were a names list somewhere. But it is what it is. So we have a cufflink. Well, let's check out the pub because he said he would be seen there. And Jay is was hoping that I will say the words open bun, which I did not say. So you can't get me to say that. Oh crap, I just said it. Bouncer. Talk to bouncer. Good evening, my man. Perhaps you could render some assistance. I'm looking for a young man whom I have reason to believe frequents this establishment. You what? I'm seeking vitally important information. Can you help me? Sorry, Gov. We got no Lou here. Holmes, I believe we've exhausted this chap's vocabulary, if not his knowledge. Wow, this is a very saucy version of Holmes and Watson that I am into. Can you help me? I'm looking for someone. The Lord helps those what help themselves. And who's there? What? Yes, my man. Bless her heart. She always said I shouldn't have gone to sea. Blast with the price. What? The man is drunk beyond all sense, Holmes. Okay, I need to do tour. Say feathered dart. A well-balanced feathered dart. The tip is slightly dulled with use. It is, however, still sharp enough to play with. Because I am a kleptomaniac, I will pick up feathered dart. I have a feathered dart. I have no idea why. Another staple of adventure games is often you just end up being kind of kleptomaniac, just taking anything that the game will give you because you have no idea if it's useful or not. But if the game gives it to you, it's probably useful. A well-balanced feathered dart. Okay, so we've already looked at that. Let's look at the dartboard, which is actually what we're looking at. Feathered darts attest to the amateur status of the patrons. More punctures adorn the wall and the support beam than the board. Perhaps it's a testament to the stoutness of the ale rather than to the abilities of the players. Perhaps. There's a feather on the ground. A distinctive curved head feather of a white cockatoo. Feather for Jay's purposes, cockatoo. A staggering drunk. A hatter, judging from the silvery white stains on his sleeves. His wide eyes and facial tics suggest that he may suffer from mercury poisoning, a disease typical of his trade. Since he was completely intoxicated, it's hard to tell what his problems might be. The cut of his jib reveals his... Oh, there's a bug here. If you notice that, I push the button for more, and then something happens and it pulls the thing down, and I go to the screen. That's interesting. Pardon me, sir, but perhaps you can help me. Me? You looking for me? Is that it? What's my name? They don't come any better than that, I'm afraid. Poor wretch. Hopefully he wasn't important. Good evening. Might I have a private word? It's your shilling. I'm looking for someone, a young man, who may come here often. You've got the wrong bloke, mate. The only thing I look at when I come here is the bottom of this here glass and the landlord's ugly puss when I have to. You wouldn't have to want to stand me to another round, would you? Or maybe your friend would be so kind. Not afraid. That's not, I'm afraid. Okay. Picture with black bunting. The landlord is a younger man, stands next to a sweet-faced woman of advancing years in the midst of Queen Victoria's 30th anniversary celebration in 1867. She is dressed in a simple black dress, and he in the grandiose and now obsolete garb of a ticket-taker on the London Underground Transit System. Interesting. Okay. He used to be a ticket-taker. The soldier in the picture is a youthful version of the landlord himself, wearing a ribbon indicating that he is in his first year of service in India. In the picture, dated 9 March 1865, the soldier wears the uniform and regimental insignia of the 1st Bangalore Fusiliers. They are known for their exceptionally long tours abroad, never less than 5 years, unless death or disgrace brought them back sooner. I don't know if they were all in this game, but the Bangalore Fusiliers was actually the group that Colonel Sebastian Moran was a part of. And he was not a nice person. So, we'll see how that goes. Yes, and Black Bunting does mean his sweetie is dead. That's correct. I'd like a pint of your best bitter and something for yourself. Very kind of you, sir. I'll have a lemon squash. So, is that it? Okay. Good evening, landlord. I have needed some information. And who might you be? This is Mr. Sherlock Holmes, and I'm Dr. Watson. We are assisting Scotland Yard in a murder investigation. My name's Taggart, but I'm no information bureau. I've got customers to serve. In any case, I see very little, hear even less, and generally talk about it not at all. This guy's going to be great fun. Hello again, landlord. I really think it is in your best interest to cooperate with us. Threats will only get you a broken jaw. You'll be well advised to clear off, or you'll be the worse for it. Okay, so I'm not going to let the arrow down this time. But the options are trafficking in wild animals out of India, disgraceful dismissal from military service. Your dear mother would be mortified to learn that you were an opium eater, and I quite apologize for just leaving. Just leaving. So we can deduce something about this guy. A large specimen of the Indian cobra, Naha, is tacked to the wall. Its characteristic voluminous hood is marked with the eye pattern, which is long fascinated the native audiences of snake charmers. So he's got snakeskin here. Old reliable widowmaker, never seen when, and several other gins of questionable provenance and dubious quality are displayed behind some very modestly priced scotch. Apparently, the drink of choice is pub's beer. The beer is fitted with 3 barrels of the same brand, Bang Drummond Lager. That's the Bang Drummond Lager again. I think it's the same alcoholic spirits, yes. This is the main supporting beam of the establishment's roof. There are several deep and dangerous-looking knife gashes in it. Blood and hair mark several indentations in the beam. Nice. Okay, so, what do we know about this guy? A woman that he was with is dead. Died about 21 years ago. And he was a service in India. Actually, hold on a second. Aha! Okay, no, wait, no. No, that's not right. He was dead in 1865, so that was 23 years ago. So, look at this feathers from the crest of a cockatoo, a bird native to Australia. How did it end up being beneath the footrail of your pub? I'm sure I don't know. One of my customers is a shop where it deals with exotic animals. He might have brought it here. Do you recognize this cufflink? Yes, sir. I've seen that fancy link more than once. Belongs to a chap named Blackwood. And just who is this Mr. Blackwood? He has a big blowhard, that's who. He's almost as stuffed as those specimens of his. See that tiger over the door there? I bought that one down myself during my tour in India. Blackwood can't spend 5 minutes in here without telling me that the ratty job that was done mounting it. He claims to be the best tax service in London. Do you know where we might find this fellow? Well, now that I do not. But if you must see some of his work, you can. There's a specimen of Bradley's tobacco shop just west of here. The proprietor's a friend of mine. He had Blackwood stuff, a moose he bagged at Holiday. I've seen it myself, and I don't know what it is that Blackwood goes on about. My tiger's easily better. Okay. More locations. And these information, sir, if you're a sporting man, I may just get at you. And what do you mean by that? I'll play you with darts, and if I win, you'll tell me what I need to know. Hey, remember the shitty dart game we talked about earlier? Well, I am a sporting man, as you say, but I don't play with just anyone. Prove to me that you're worth my while, and I'll consider your proposal. If you can beat the house, I'll play you. So, yeah, remember we talked about, a lesser game would have a bad dart game in here. Well, apparently this is a lesser game. We're going to the dart game now. It's beating all 3 of these gentlemen at the tables. I have to beat all 3 of them at darts. Oh my god. All right. Let's start with the staggering drunk. Sir, the board is empty and I require a worthy opponent. Do you perhaps play darts? What's that? Darts? Darts, of course I play. I'm a champion of Basil Street. If you're looking for a challenge, then I'm your man. Which way is the board? Right this way, my good man. Shall I begin? By all means, and you, sir, may throw first. Oh, jeez. Okay. It's pretty straightforward. Just get the green line to the red line. And I'm thinking pointing, the pointer tells you where the dart goes, and then, okay. Oh, this is 301 too. Oh, man. This is going to be a haul. So for those of you who don't know, 301 is a style of darts in which you're trying to get 301 points, or more specifically, you're trying to lose 301 points. Basically, you're trying to shoot on the board as much as possible, and each section of the board gives you a certain amount of points, and you subtract that from 301. Eventually, you are trying to get, more specifically, exactly 301 points. So if, for example, I had 15 points left and I scored 25 points, that would count for nothing. So I have to get exactly 301 points to win the game, which is irritating because it looks like this is not a power meter so much as a quadrant. So if I want to go to the middle of the board and then near the top of the board to get to that red spot here, because these are double, this outer ring is double, so that would be 40 points, and this inner ring is triple. So that's a really good spot to be. That is 5 points. That's not a good spot to be. So I need to go to here and then about there. That's 6 points. Oh my god. I have to do this 3 times. 3 times. And yes, while I'm playing darts, the Basil Street reference is very likely a reference to The Great Mouse Detective or Basil of Baker Street, which was a novel that The Great Mouse Detective was based off of. So it's probably likely a reference to that. Again, we talked about this last time, but the writers of this game clearly are very familiar with a lot of Sherlockania, and so there's lots of subtle references here, which is not typical for most. To be fair, a lot of Sherlockian video games are not that well researched. They just kind of do vaguely Sherlock stuff. Okay, so we're down to 50 points. Now I have to be a little more strategic. So let's try dead center. Those are all 25 points. Oh, there we go. I got bullseye. Okay. Notice I got exactly 50 points. There we go. Game 1 down. Let's talk to the dirty drunk. Excuse me, I'm a good man. What is it you're drinking? I'm drinking whatever's in my cup at the moment, Gov. Well, alright then. Can't complain about that. Excuse me, sir, I might interest you in a game of darts. You might indeed, Governor, but at the moment I'm busy with this fine mug. Talk to me again, I'm not quite so preoccupied. So apparently I have to play them in order. Because that's even better. I'm looking for some challenging play at the dartboard. Would you care to join me? I watched you trounce the other chap, but these fingers have been blessed by Simon and all the saints, and I will not be so easily defeated. Okay, Willie. Let's go. So I genuinely did not know this was in the game. And now that I have the pattern, it's going to be just kind of a fait accompli. But again, mini games are not a new thing. They're a tradition of lots of different game designs. So it's not, I won't say that's surprising, because obviously I was surprised, but rather it's not unusual, I suppose. I just expected darts games specifically. Oh my god. Come on, should I get that triple? Fun fact, part of the reason why I know a lot about darts is because my stepfather and my mom, when I was younger, were actually competitive dart throwers. So I learned a lot about how to play 301 and similar games from them. So that's why I know a lot about this. I'm not proud of this fact, but there it is. It is a fact that exists. 46, son of a... Okay. Try to get 20 at least. Busted. See? Now, also, all the points I made for this turn are not going to happen because I busted. Dixie tells me that the Devil's Daughter game plays a whole lot of lawn bowling. Oh, no. No, that's not great. Nobody needs that much lawn bowling in their life. 25. 50, 41. Let's try the top. See if I can get double 20. I missed the board entirely. Well, all right. Willie wins. Son of a bitch. All right. We're going to get through this dark game together, folks. A moment, what is a moment but an eternity in God's eye? What would you ask for more than a mortal man can give? My man always gave me a warm scarf to out the chill. Have you seen my man? This one is deep in his cups, Holmes. So it would seem, Watson. Probably another time we'll find him a bit more coherent. So I guess I can't challenge him. Oh, there it is. There's a challenge another game of darts, my good man. Consider this challenge accepted, sir. Alrighty. Let's go for the 50. That's 25. That's not 50. It's going to be a little off. Oh, that or it's going to be dead on. Sure. There's no reason why that should have been 50, but that's fine. Looks like it's not completely accurate. It looks like it kind of gives a little factor. In Sarah Reese Hoyle's Book of Games, let you play generic board games with adventure game characters. I do not remember that, Jay. That is interesting. I never heard of that. I mean, I knew they put a Hoyle's game, but I didn't realize it was play with adventure game characters. I suppose it'll be a bit like when Telltale did their Poker Night game, I suppose, which I have played a fair bit of, actually. 126. Come on, Willie, screws. Oh, man, Willie's good. Okay. 60, there we go. That's what I'm talking about. I need to get 25. Okay, I have 1 point left. I need to get 1 point, the number 1, which is right next to that 20. One of the interesting things about darts, just from a design perspective, is the fact that it does a really good number placement. So it's like, if you're trying to shoot for 20s and you hit a 1, that's negative because you get a lot less points than you want to, but also now I have the reverse problem is I can get way more points than I want to hit. I've got to hit exactly that 1. And I hit 54 because reasons. And Willie's just flying here. That was interesting. I'm wondering if you guys talked to him when he was drinking that made him more drunk. 2 points. 2 points. Now I'm shooting like crazy, and I couldn't have nailed those points before. Okay, Willie down to 3. Got that part right. Shoot for that. Okay, Willie busted 2. Let's try that. Let's try that. It's too far over. Oh, man. All right. Those were both busting on this. Oh, my God. Oh, geez, I screwed it up. Okay, 0. Good. So someone made a tabletop role-playing game based on darts. I don't think. Why do I keep doing that? I don't think so. No. Willie and I have the same problem right now, which is that we're trying to. I keep getting 18. Okay, I've got to get too early. Okay, Willie busted. Thank God. Oh, 54. Oh, man. Okay. Come on, we're doing this. There we go. Finally, 1 friggin' point. All right. Come on, buddy. Sir, if I could part you from your drink for a few moments, I would welcome your participation at the dartboard. Winning against those 2 dilapidated rummies is no great feat. I suppose it's up to me to take you down a peg or 2. Prepare yourself, sir. Good day, sir. Alright, so let's start going for bullseyes. Come for the Sharkania, stay for the dart game. The group designed a session that packs on blood with Dixie to design a game that's resolutions done with darts. I mean, to be fair, at least the core design is a D20. And then you could have the outer ring being like a critical success, inner ring being a super success. Find ways to do failure, or maybe the outer ring's failure and the inner ring success. I'm not sure. But yeah, you could theoretically do a D20 based thing theoretically with this. That could be fun. Let's click some more 25s. We are way ahead of Mickey right here. And I just screwed that up. Oh, no, I guess not. Okay. I am beating pretty solidly 75 points here, so that's nice. And Mickey's just making a liar out of me. All right. Let's see if we can get a 50 here. That's 25. That's not what I wanted, but that's right. And back to 1 point. My nemesis, a single point. But if I did get a lot of trial and error last time, I think I have a pretty good idea to hit that one now. It's going to be just to the right of that red and just in the middle there. Boom! Done. Nailed it. And finally, the publican. I'm ready for that game now, if you please. And so you are. Shall we begin? Here it is. All the marbles. The top game of the year. Things I do as a detective to try to solve the case of a murder, a woman who was murdered, and I do that by playing darts in a club. I'm just the best. Really, 50? Oh no. Oh man, this is not good. He's just gonna keep hitting 50s on me. Oh man. All right. Oh boy. I can only hope that's a fluke, because otherwise, oh man. Boom, 150. Okay, he's not gonna nail bullseyes all the time. That would have sucked. Oh, oh jeez. Oh, fuck. All right. Let us do that. That's 3. That is not what I wanted. Okay, now I have to do a high 20. And 3 again. So I have to do that low again. Bam! Did it. First time. Done. Screw you, darts. Talk to me. Talk to me. And now, Mr. Taggart, as you promised, I'm looking for a young man about 17, well-built and quick-witted. I'm told he frequented this establishment. We play a fine game, sir, and as promised, I believe the fellow you're looking for works for a chemist in Haddington Street. You'll do well to direct a few questions his way. Thank you, sir, for the information and the game. Okay. Woo! Everybody wins! I think I'm gonna go out on a high note there. It's been a couple of hours. It's a good place to stop. So let's go ahead and save my game. New save there. Let's see. Check streets. Actually, chemist down street. Remind me. Go check that out later on here. And then we will call that there. Thank you guys very much for hanging out again, as always. I am looking to do this a little more frequently right now, especially with self-quarantine happening right now. This is a cool thing I can do to kind of hang out with people. I'll keep updating on my Twitter accounts and on Facebook. They'll be my personal accounts, not my Puck City accounts, but my personal accounts. I'll post there, or just follow. Actually up here, but follow the channel, and I'll let you know when I go live. I may be doing it Thursday nights. We'll see, because my D&D game, probably going to be putting that on a hiatus. I'm still figuring that out. If not, then I'll probably do it every other Saturday like I've been doing. Keep in touch. Let me know. I appreciate you guys hanging out. And with that, talk to you later.